everyone, welcome on back to my channel. So today I wanted to discuss lint and locks because I've been suffering with lint in my locks, and to be honest, I didn't think it was bad until I went searching and discovered it was a problem. So I figured, let me go ahead and do some research and see, how does this happen? How do we accumulate lint within our locks? So lint are tiny debris or fibers that get intertwined within our locks. And of course, this can come from clothing, your bedding, towels, and it can just come from the environment. It doesn't even have to be, from cotton or clothing or any type of fabric. It can literally just be in the air. Also, it can come from your own scalp. Let's say you have a scalp condition like dandruff, those flakes can also get intertwined and trapped into your locks. Also, along with the lint to create this big, humongous lint ball. So, lint usually shows up in locks as these white patches, which can be confusing because the same can be said for buildup. Buildup within your locks also shows usually up as these white patches within your locks. So the only way you're going to be able to tell the difference is when you wash your hair. So when you wash your hair and you have buildup, it will disappear. And also buildup will feel kind of oily or waxy, especially, when you touch it and squeeze your locks, you will see either some oil come out or like a waxy substance. So that's how you know that that is definitely product buildup within your locks. On the other hand, with lint, if it's in your locks and you get your hair wet, it does not disappear. It will stay visible. So that's how you'll know the difference if you have a buildup issue or if you have a lint issue. And to be honest, you can have both at the same time. So what usually happens is, small little bits of lint, you're probably not able to detect unless you're literally up on your locks with a mirror checking it out. It's not until the lint accumulates into a bigger, ball of lint that you're going to be able to see that white patch within your locks. So what causes lint to even be able to be attracted or intertwine itself within our locks? It's usually because of the products that we're using, the oils, the creams, the waxes, if you use wax to twist your hair, whatever product you're using to, moisturize, twist your locks is attracting lint, unfortunately. So it's like a catch-22. Of course, unless you're going to be that person that uses no product whatsoever within your locks, lint is going to happen regardless. It's going to happen to all of us, whether it's a small amount and it's not that big of a problem, or it becomes this huge problem, which we need to combat. So let's talk about some of the ways to prevent lint from being a problem within your locks. The number one thing is covering your locks. You definitely need to make sure your locks are covered. And I'm guilty of this, of not always covering my locks, especially when I go to sleep. I try my best to, but sometimes I just go straight to bed and don't cover them. So wearing a bonnet at night is definitely a must. And also, if you're just not a person that likes bonnets, maybe trying to invest in a satin pillowcase. You definitely don't want to sleep on a cotton pillowcase if you're not going to wear a bonnet, because that will just accumulate the lint within your locks. Also, you want to periodically check your locks. And this is how I even realized I had a lint problem, is I just decided to take one of those magnifying mirrors and look at the back of my head and inspect my locks. And that's when I found so many patches of lint within my locks. And I was so surprised because I always look at the front of my hair and try to inspect to make sure everything is good. but I'm guilty of not checking the back of my locks. So to be a preventive measure, you definitely want to be in the habit of looking at your locks and checking, especially the back. The back of your locks, I feel like, is where you can obtain the most lint. For me, it was like within the first 3 rows. And, you know, the back of your head lays against a whole bunch of things, against, pillows, chairs, even when you're putting on your clothing. I feel like the back of your head just can attract the most lint if it's going to be there. So you just want to make sure you're just checking it here and there, maybe once a week if you're just not willing to be in your head every day. But I would say like maybe once a week you want to just go through and just make sure everything is good and check your locks. Another way of trying to prevent lint within your locks is washing more often. Some people don't wash their hair a lot. They go months without washing their hair, which is to each his own. That is up to you. I do wash my hair every 2 weeks. So, I could up it to, once a week, but I don't know. For right now, I don't feel like I really need to do that. But washing your hair more often releases that product buildup, which also can help you try to release some of that lint that is trapped within your locks. Also, after washing your hair, make sure you're not using a towel. Make sure you're using maybe a microfiber towel, something that's not cotton, that's not going to add lint back into your locks. Or maybe a turban. I like to use a t-shirt turban. I believe I found mine's at like TJ Maxx or Marshall's, one of those places. It wasn't really much. But I have like 2 of them that I love to use every time I wash my locks. I just tie my hair up in that t-shirt turban. Or of course, you could just take a regular t-shirt if you don't even have that or don't want to buy one, and use that to cover and dry out your locks. That way you're not adding more lint and causing more issues. So let's talk about how do you solve the problem of removing lint from your locks. Now, some people believe if you do an apple cider vinegar rinse, that will combat the lint issue. But for me, I don't think when I did my apple cider vinegar rinse that it really made a difference in lint. And to be honest, not that I was checking at that time, but the thing with apple cider vinegar rinses is it will dissolve the buildup within your locks. But remember, lint can still be trapped after that product buildup dissolves, because it may be intertwined within your locks and it will stay trapped there until you try to go in there and get it out physically. So, apple cider vinegar rinses aren't bad. I'm not saying you shouldn't try to do that. That may help, but it may not resolve the issue completely. Another way to remove lint from your locks is using tweezers. Now, with this method, you want to be careful, and I would caution you because you can damage your locks if you're not careful. Because going in with the tweezers, you're basically picking and slowly taking apart that lock. And locks are embedded hair that is intertwined together. So kind of picking at it with the tweezers to get the lint out will also cause your locks to become weakened. Now, I have used this method to remove lint from my locks. And I'm going to be honest with you, once you see the lint starting to come out, you feel like, oh my God, let me go to town. Let me continue to keep digging. And that's where I would caution you, because it could be a never-ending cycle. You could start taking out that lint and you just find patch after patch after patch. So I started this process and I did not complete it because I was just like, you know what? I am not trying to reverse my locking process. My locks are mature and they're getting even more mature, and me picking at them on a constant manner is not going to help. So like I said, just be cautious with it. It does help. It does remove the lint efficiently, but you just gotta kind of, I would say, go in, take a break. Don't go in for a while, wait a week or so, then maybe go in and try to see if you can get the rest of it, but definitely just be careful. Another way to try to combat and remove lint from your locks may be you trying to add to your routine brushing your locks. Now, I just recently got a brush and decided to add this into my routine once I discovered I had the lint issue. And you want to make sure it's either a soft, I would say soft to medium bristle brush, because remember, your locks are intertwined, they are locked. And if you're not at a stage where they are not locked, I would caution you not to do this. I would say if you have hair that's probably 9 months, or even better, if you're 12 months and further up, then I would say, yeah, it's probably safe for you to go ahead and do the brushing of your locks. But if you're not at that stage yet, it would be not a good idea for you to do it, because you'll be brushing out, your locks and basically brushing the hairs that are trying to gather together to lock in the first place. So you don't want to do that and reverse the process. And brushing your locks basically picks up the lint that is on the surface of your locks. So whatever lint has accumulated on the surface of your locks, before it even embeds into your lock, you can remove it with a brush. So as always, I would say just do your research. Definitely do what's best for your lock journey. And this isn't something that I feel like you can't fully prevent from happening. It's going to happen to all of us, whether you notice at different stages of your journey that the lint issue is there. But I would say just do your best to prevent it and remove it with caution. So I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye, guys.